By special request, if you bring on 10 or 20 units, I can always make a plan. But that's where we start off now. Software, as I said, we are the resellers for a range of software called Pix4D. Pix4D Fields in particular is primarily for the agricultural industry, and I'll just touch on that a little bit later on in the presentation. And then we offer a number of services. We do consulting, so we sit down with our clients and we custom design a solution. We listen to what the problem is and what you want to achieve. And then we put together a solution, and we then decide what is the most appropriate aircraft or sensor. We do training. We outsource RPL training according to South African Civil Aviation Authority regulations. We do advanced training in what they call BVLOS, or Beyond Visual Line of Sight training. And then we do the actual product-specific training on whatever drone you buy and the sensor or camera that goes with it. We are in a position to offer various services. So if you need a field mapped, say once a year, and you don't want to make that investment in a drone, we outsource the data capture to what's called an ROC holder. So it's completely above board. We do it legally. We then process the data and we produce the results and we give it to our clients. And then of course we offer after-sales support, maintenance. We hold spares for, we supply spares for all the products that we sell, and then we offer support services. So typically, if you had to look at a solution, this would be what's called a precision agricultural solution. So the solution will comprise of those four components. On the left is a multispectral camera. If you don't know what a multispectral camera is, it's a camera that captures the four bands of infrared light. So as you know, plants transmit in various wavelengths of infrared depending on the condition of the plant. And by capturing that information, you can actually be able to determine the whole field whether you have certain problems with your crops, either under irrigation, over irrigation, or a pest infestation. You'll actually be able to determine it with that camera. That is a small mapping drone. Runs on battery. It's got an hour's flying time. You can cover on a single flight 200 hectares. So you can fly a field of 200 hectares. If you've got something bigger, you can just repeat different surveys, and then you can overlap more if you have a larger field. We have a very specific software called Pix4D, Pix4D Fields, and what Pix4D Fields does, it takes the data or the images that you've captured using that camera, it stitches them all together, and you get then what's called an ortho photo of the entire crop field. That particular camera in the middle is a normal RGB camera. So you get a normal RGB ortho photo, and then you'll get what's called a NDVI, or Near Difference Vegetation Index. I got that right. I can't say that after a few years. So it'll produce the index map, and will produce the NDVI. It'll also export what's called a prescription file. And that prescription file will go to a crop spraying drone, for instance. So you can do actual precision spraying rather than what's usually done today with a manned aircraft. It's just a blanket spray over the whole field. And then we offer training on the operation of the drone, training on the software, and training on the use of the camera as well. Another typical example that I think is on top of everybody's mind at the moment, which is security, especially farm security. This solution comprises what we call a multi-rotor. So this is a 4-rotor drone that's capable of hovering and can maintain normal flight. The camera on the left there, it's the latest from DJI. It's called an XT2 dual sensor camera. So it's got two sensors. One is a normal daylight RGB camera, and the other one is a thermal camera, which allows you to operate at night. We provide the flight mission planning software. So it's quite easy to use this craft. You literally use an iPad with a flight mission planning app. You plot a waypoint or a set of waypoints if you want to do, say, perimeter fence patrolling on your farm. You'll just plot your waypoint, you will set your altitude, and you will set your speed, and the drone will take off, it will fly the entire route, come back, land automatically, and while it's flying, you will have what's called real-time first-person view. So you'll have a real real-time feedback of the camera, so you'll be able to detect if what we're all wanting to look for is intruders, maybe at the outside of the fence wanting to come in or already in the fence. You can even use it to trace lost animals at night, because you'll pick up the thermal footprint of the animal. On the high scale of things, we've got what we call a long-range, high-endurance surveillance drone. So I wouldn't want to call that a Hommeltuig. I'd rather call it a onbemande vliegtuig, because it's actually an aeroplane. What's unique about that one, it is what's called a Veeteelt, a vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. So you don't need launching catapults, as is the case with most fixed-wing drones. It takes off vertically using its 4 multi-rotors. It then transitions into normal lateral flight, and when the mission is complete, it comes back, hovers, and then it lands again. So that craft has got a 3-meter wingspan. You literally need a 4-meter by 4-meter open space to operate this craft. No landing strips required, no catching nets, no parachute landings, and no catapults. The craft is built in South Africa. It's developed, designed and built in South Africa. The main thrust motor is a little petrol motor, a 4-stroke 21cc motor. It runs on 95 octane fuel, and it's got a flying time of 8 hours with a half a kilogram payload. And you've got a range, a standard range of about 50 kilometers, but we can add what's called a tracking antenna to this, and we can push it to about 120 kilometers, what's called radio line of sight. So you could fly around a large farm. I actually did an exercise one day for Veeteelt Game Reserve, and Veeteelt Game Reserve in 12 hours or 8 hours you'll be able to fly the entire circumference of Veeteelt about 13 times at a low speed of 80 kilometers an hour. Okay, so because I only have half an hour, I'm going to focus on drone technology to cover 2 areas, which is security, surveillance, and precision agriculture. We start off with a very small drone. Sorry, I'm supposed to show this one first. So the drones available on the market today scale according to capability, and of course the higher the capability goes, the higher the cost. So we start off with this drone, which is a small 50,000 rand drone. It's called the Mavic 2 Enterprise. We will do this one now, because it's a difference. It's got a small dual sensor camera, so it's got a normal RGB and it's got infrared. 3.5 kilometers of range, so you can fly 3.5 kilometers away max. It's got about 25 minutes flying time on the battery. So very nice to, especially around a farmhouse. You're worried about dogs start barking, you want to secure the area immediately around your house. You pop this drone up, and literally within a few minutes you will be able to tell whether there's any human being in a radius of at least 1 kilometer with this camera or this drone. Also, what's nice about this drone is if you, the thermal capabilities are really not that good, but you can put on a little dual LED lamp, which is very effective at night, and you can also put on a speaker and get many blips as well. So you can fly up to them and you can talk a kilometer away, and there's quite a loud speaker, and you can fly lots of kids. I'll just give you a quick look at what it looks like. So it's a short video to show you the RGB capabilities. So there's a guy running into the wind fields. And during the day, it's obviously quite easy to spot the guy. This thermal camera has got a very low resolution, but what it's going to give you is going to pick up movement, and it's going to, especially when it's cold in the evening, you're going to definitely see that there is an object there moving at a higher temperature than your surrounding temperatures. So if you take, especially in the winter, if the ground temperature at about 9-10 o'clock at night is in a sub 10 degrees and the human body is 30, 33, 35, you definitely can pick up the wind. Okay, so that's the entry level. Then we go on to We've just recently signed up with this US company. It's called the Sky Prowler 2. It's also a Veeteelt. It goes for around about 90,000 Rand. It's got full HD camera built into the front. For 90,000 Rand, it's quite an exceptional drone. We're looking also at around about an hour's flight. It's fully battery operated. And the radio link will give you 90 kilometers radio around the side, standard radio link. That 90,000 covers a petty case with 2 screens in, ground control station, antenna, batteries, the whole game sheet. It's also got a little cargo bay that you can carry half kilo, 500 grams, and you can, for an extra couple of thousand, you can buy what's called a drop drone model. So if you want to go and drop something, I'm thinking agricultural applications, you want to drop off whatever somebody needs in the field, lightweight, you can fly over, check down, hit the button, and you can drop something a couple of kilometers away. You don't have to drive out to the button. Sorry? As long as it weighs less than 500 grams. I'll be thinking about that. This one is the DJI Matrice 200 with the XT2 thermal camera. You're looking at about, in total, about a 300 to 350,000 Rand setup. So that includes everything. It's the drone, the camera. The camera is the most expensive part of the solution because this is a 640 resolution. What I showed you just now was a 160, so it's about 5 times the resolution. 640 is also the highest resolution that you will get on a commercial basis for infrared cameras. So it's a 640. That camera alone retails for around about 200,000. So the balance is the drone and the additional batteries. So we recommend at least a set of 4 batteries. This will give you, the version 2 will give you about 35 minutes flying time on a set of batteries with a 3.5 kilometer range. Also fully automatic. You can also, at any point in time during the automated flight, you can take over and you can fly it manually. Okay, so there's a company down in Knysna, home-built product called Ulti. And they have now got a range of 3 aircraft. From the left there, it's called the Ascend. It is a 2 meter wingspan aircraft with a little petrol motor. As you can see, all 3 are Veeteelt. It's got a flying time of about 4 hours with about a half a kilogram payload. In the middle is the one they've shipped about 35 internationally now, the Transition. That's a 3 meter wingspan. That's the one you're looking at about 8 hours of flying time. And then with tracking antennas, you can send it for up to 100 to 120 kilometers away. The one on the right is called the Reach. The first one is nearly ready to go. They've already done their Veeteelt testing. Here you're looking at 20 hours of endurance. In a single flight, you're looking at 20 hours. It's got a twin motor, 70cc petrol engine, 2-stroke. Its payload capacity is about 7 kilograms, so you can take now a surveillance package that would ordinarily go on like a manned helicopter or a normal manned aircraft. This is really serious stuff, but you're looking at a total setup of around 8 million rand. This is the Ulti Transition in its orange livery. Just that camera, to give you an idea, that little camera is about the size of a Coke can. It costs just under 500,000 Rand, but it's got a 20 times optical zoom. It's a dual sensor camera. It's got thermal infrared, so it's got a 640 infrared sensor as well. It's also got what's called smart object tracking. So if you are flying and you see a target, let's say there's a car driving along the road, and you click on your screen, the camera will actually lock onto that target, and it'll follow at variable, so the vehicle will be at a variable speed, and so will the aircraft, but the camera will remain locked on the craft, and it'll give what's called the slant range, and you'll have the GPS coordinate of the target. So we're talking about really serious surveillance applications now, where the pilot will be able to radio to a ground control crew and transmit GPS coordinates to them and say, this is where the target is, and it's a moving target. To give you an idea of size of the Reach, that's a standard Robbie 44 in the background. To put it into human perspective, those of you are standing around it. So This is a serious Hommeltuig. This is a very interesting one. This is going to be quite a game changer in what's called the RPAS industry. It's a fully automated drone solution. You actually don't need a pilot to fly this. And I think that the best way to try and explain it is just to show you a very short video. If I remember to copy it over. Sorry, I don't have that video now, so I'm going to skip that in the interest of time. Effectively, how this works, I thought I copied that over. It's a complete drone solution box. So the drone has got a dual sensor camera over there. It's a normal electric driven multi-rotor. The box is installed, think about a secured area like a SASL or even on a farm. It's connected with power, it's connected to a network, and the operator could be sitting in Joburg, and the box would be literally here. And the software, you will program various missions, security missions. You can do mapping with this, and at the given time, the drone will take off. The box opens, the drone will take off, it'll fly the mission, come back, land. The box will close. Robotic arms will pinch it, and it'll start recharging the battery, and it'll download the data and submit it to the central computer. It's already running in Australia, in Italy, and in South Korea. It runs on 5G. It's the first drone to run on the new 5G network. It's running on 5G network in South Korea. It can run like that continuously. It's IP66 rated, so it can fly in rain as well. It does come with a weather station, so there are weather parameters that you can program, that if the weather is a little bit too bad, that it will actually abort that mission and it will reschedule it. It will go unsupervised, if you could call it that, for up to 6 weeks before any human intervention is involved. And the human intervention is really basic maintenance. You open the box, clean it out, do certain things that you need to check, replace the battery, and off you go again for another 6 weeks. Cost, you're looking at about 1.5 million for the drone box and the software. Okay, then on the precision agriculture, there's a two-step process for this. I think I mentioned it just now, but we do this mapping drone that comes with a built-in, there's two versions. One is a normal RGB camera, the other one is the multispectral camera. So that is what a NDVI will look like. So the red patches are areas of that field that would need some closer attention, but in the actual report, it'll be more specific of, under irrigation, too much water, but from the actual index values, somebody that can read an NDVI map would know exactly what is going on there. We now get into the crop spraying drone. The one on the start of my presentation was a battery-driven multi-rotor. This is a twin-turbine, heavy-fuel helicopter with a payload of 45 kilograms. So you can take a serious load with this. 2.5 hours flying time. This runs on kerosene or jet A1 fuel. It's basically the same as a Robbie 44. 50 kilometer standard radio line of sight. So although it's quite an expensive drone, if you take crop spraying and what they are using, this in the long term would be a much more cost effective and a safer, it's removing the risk of pilot injury and pilot death in the case of crashes. Because let's face it, these guys that are flying crop spraying are really pushing the limit at the altitudes that they're flying. So the drone alone comes in at about 6.6 million rand. That's complete with training, ground control station, the whole works. It also flies typically like the DJI stuff. So you plot a route or a program, you hit a button, it takes off, flies, comes back, lands, all automatic. So it's exactly the same. Most of the drones today run on that principle. Give you an idea of size. That's the size of the drone. It's quite a flexible platform. This one has got a surveillance payload, so this can also take that 2.5 million rand surveillance payload that you put on a normal manned aircraft. Okay, that was the last one, and what I'm going to finish off with, so thank you very much for your time. I actually wanted to open with a joke to say it feels like I'm going to be auctioning off a couple of drones here, but I only remembered that now. So I'm going to end off with a short video. This is an actual footage of a housing estate here in Irene. I sold them the Matrice 200 with that thermal camera, and they were having huge problems with cable theft and break-ins, because if I tell you who their neighbour are, you probably work out who they are. So they border the ARC, and as you know, that's a huge piece of open felt, and most of the infiltrations come through there, and that's where they come in and nail the cables. So they hardly replace a cable, and literally 2 months later, they nail the cable again. So out of desperation last year, they bought the package from me, and they started flying night patrols, and since October last year, they haven't had a single incident of cable theft, and they actually thwarted, in June, they thwarted 3 guys approaching the estate, and obviously they were planning to break in. And I actually have the real life footage of engaging real intruders and what it actually looks like. I'll add a little bit of music to this. It's about 3 minutes, so I think you'll find this quite interesting. Also notice the quality of the thermal. It's running on what's called a black hot palette, which means that all your cool temperatures are white and grey, and your hot temperatures are black. I don't have any sound, but anyway, it should give you an idea. So they spotted these 3 guys. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. They spotted these 3 guys, these 3 shapes. This was about 300 meters away. So they went in for a closer look. Also, what the guys did is they put insulation tape over the navigation lights. So these guys couldn't see it, but they heard something, and they immediately went down and they laid down in the grass, which is actually fantastic because the target gets bigger when you lay down. So they lay dead still. They knew there's something going on because they could obviously hear the buzz of the motors. So the guy pulled away a bit, gave them some space. They got up and they carried on, and he flew in for another closer look. And again, they went to ground, they lay down, and he decided he's going to let them know that he's there. And he went quite close. So this is, the camera doesn't have a zoom capability, so he actually had to go quite low with the drone. He's now engaging them with up to maybe a kilometer away. The guys decided, you see the guy with the backpack, he's got all these tools for breaking in. They realized that they've been detected, and they started making a break for it. And they made a run. So what he did is he just kept following them. And the more he followed them, the faster they ran. The guy with the backpack, you'll see he's quite fit at the moment, but towards the end of the mission, he lags behind because you could see his battery was flat. Got to a point where he actually buzzed them, and the guy ran and he just dived over the fence in desperation to get away. Check this guy on the left of the backpack. He just falls over the fence. So now they're hitting the road. Ja, ons verlede moet teen klippe en goed vashardloop. So these guys, even though it's dark now, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, they knew exactly where they're coming from because there's a hole in the fence there. You see they actually spook the cattle, and they know exactly where they're going. So these guys scope the area out well. They've probably been doing it a couple of times. They go over this fence, and then around the corner they duck under another fence. Just make a note there on the left-hand side. You see those poles? That's the Eskom cables. They are visible at night. So flying at night with a thermal camera is as safe as flying during the day. In fact, you would pick up those wires easier at night than what you would during the day with a normal RGB camera. So they're tacking up. You see this guy here, he's already walking. But you can see the wires here. you can actually see the telegraph wires, which you really struggle to pick up during the day. So they carry on running. Interesting thing is they run under the tree, they try and hide under the tree. We've done quite a number of ops where we get people to try and hide under the tree. You can actually see through foliage. You pick up the thermal image. So there you can see them through the leaves. So out of desperation, they start throwing rocks at the drone. That guy small falls on his back. He's moog. And off they go again. And the only unfortunate thing about this entire mission was because it was just a routine patrol, it took too long to cover. They didn't have a ground control team or a ground reaction team that they could coordinate. But if they had a vehicle on standby, or if they had a police vehicle on standby, they could have radioed them in, they could have followed them, and they would have made an arrest of those 3 guys. So I wanted to finish off with that because I think it's quite appropriate. We've had a lot of inquiries for some reason the last 2 weeks for such a solution, mostly from farmers, sheep theft. On the way here, I had a call from the guys in Oudtshoorn. They're just so tired of being nailed every week. I need to send them a proposal and they want it up tomorrow. So that's just a couple of the drone applications that are available in the market today. There's literally thousands of applications that's being delivered by drones today around the world. But within the scope of what we've got here, that's all I can cover. So I thank you all for your attention, and I hope you found that interesting. If you want my card, you've got my card. Just ask me and I'll give you my card. Thanks very much, Brian. Ons doen dit nie direk nie, ons doen dit deur een van die importe invoerders. Maar ek het nou die dag gehoor dat DJI daai drone nou is out of service, out of production. Vir een of ander rede het hulle nou opgehou met produksie. Die probleem met daai drone is die batterye. Sy batterye is 'n 12,000 mAh batterye. So om hom in die land in te bring is 'n groot challenge. So hulle moet dit met skipvaart doen en die assuransie op die goed is nogal baie. So dit vat ten minste 6 weke om die batterye in te kry. So daar is 'n paar ouens wat dit gebruik, maar soos ek sê, DJI die afgelope 12 maande het hulle so 'n bietjie van koers af beweeg. Hulle bou nou robots vir kinders en hulle bring uit die klein drones en hulle die ernstige drones wat hulle naam gemaak het, hulle uit produksie gevat, soos die DJI Phantoms is nou klaar. Die Mavic Pro is klaar. Ek het nou gehoor die Matrice 600 is ook klaar. Hulle het hom opgehou en die Matrice 200 version 1. Ek kan nou net of as iemand stok het, maar hulle vervaardig het nie meer nie. Dis nie die Matrice 200 version 2. Die ding is hulle timeline tussen die verskillende modelle is so kort. Jy koop nou in 'n jaar van nou is 'n nuwe model daar en dan is hierdie model uit produksie uit. En dan is daar 'n limited stock holding van spares en daai tipe goed. So ek sal baie versigtig wees om na die DJI crops te kyk. Ja. Ja, ek stem 100% saam met jou. So van 'n infrarooi of 'n thermo-infrarooi kamera oogpunt af, die 640, jy kry die 640 en jy kry die 336. Daar's baie ouens wat vir jou die 336 sal probeer verkoop, maar dit wat jy daar gesien het was 'n 640. Dit is die beste resolusie wat jy kan kry in 'n thermokamera buite die militair.
Dis in die dag?
Ja, in die nag.
En die dag is 'n dag by hier, as 'n
Ek stem saam met jou, dit is so deur die dag, dit is, daar's meer as een challenge wat dit aanbied. Ek soos die ouens hier aan, dan ry hulle met 'n bakkie, dan het hulle een van die sterkste spotlights wat jy kan dink, dan lê die ou in die gras, letterlik 3 meter van die voertuig af. Jy trap amper op hom, dan sien jy hom nie. So in die aand is hy baie effektief. Deur die dag, dit gaan oor line of sight. As jy onder 'n dak is, of hy is onder 'n boom, ja, jy gaan hom nie sien nie. Met die een ding met Pries 200, die hierso, hy het verskillende kameras wat jy op hom kan sit. Een van hulle is 'n zoom kamera met 'n 30 times optical zoom. So jy kan hoog op wees en so van die taktiese oogpunt af. As jy sê 100 tot 200 meter opgaan en hy kan nie die drone hoor nie, dan kom hy uit sy skuiling uit. Maar daai kamera, die optical zoom is so sterk dat jy sy gesig sal kan herken. So weet, dit is daar's verskillende applikasies, maar deur die dag op die einde is dit moeilik, maar as jy die koste vat van dit, eerder as 'n helikopter of 'n vliegtuig, hierdie gee jou daai bietjie van 'n advantage. Jy sien, dit hang af van terrein ook. So ek het 'n voorbeeld waar ons toetse in die aand gedoen het, waar ons stuur mense uit, dan die ou die drone vlieg, weet nie waarna toe hulle gaan. Ons gee hulle so 10 minute, dan verdwyn dit, maar natuurlijk is dit meer koop. En in die meeste van die gevalle, ons van die drone, ons spat hom op tot so 50, 60 meter, en dan doen ons 'n vinnige 360 scan. En in die 360 scan gaan jy die ou of die ouens met die thermalkamera. So jy gaan iemand optel teen so tussen 200 en 300 meter, afhangende van die terrein. So as dit redelik plat is en hulle staan, al is dit tussen die gras, gaan jy hom optel teen so 200 en 300 meter. Wat die ouens vir my gesê het ook, so ek bly ook daai kant uit, ek is daar verby Roodplaatdam, ek bly op 'n klein wildreservaat, en ek gebruik my eie drone om patrollies te vlieg, want ons is ook ARC is ons een kant. En ja, ek bly op 'n verskeie. Ja, okay. So, ons het vanaf nie 'n incident daar gehad nie. Daar is nou 'n sekuriteitsmaatskappy wat met daai klein duels vlieg. En hulle vlieg omtrent elke aand. Waar jy met die goed vlieg en jy blokkeer nie sy ligte nie. As die ouens weet dat jy vlieg gereeld, dan weet hulle hulle gaan maklik gesien word en dan skuif hulle, ongelukkig skuif hulle operasies na ander plek. Maar dit is ook 'n ander manier om wat se woord vir dit is. Ek kan nie eens in Engelse naam dink nie. It's ja, nee, dit is in Engelse deterrent. Het is 'n deterrent. So as die ouens weet dat jy vlieg met drones, hulle weet wat ze doen. En dan bly hulle weg van daai baan. Dis dan. Ek moet sê, daai spotlights, as jy by gelowig is nogal skrikwekkend as daai ding na jou toe vlieg met daai twee oor. En veral met ons, die ouens wat daar opereer, hulle is baie superstitious. Baie gelowig, die tokkelos en daai tipe goed. So as hulle sien hierdie ding maak 'n geluid en hy het twee oor wat vinnig na hulle toe vlieg, dit is baie intimiderend. Eintlik wat ek het nou net gedink, jy het gevra of jy nou aangenaam baie en sê daai speaker moet jy 'n recording hê van die stroospoort. Soos jy nou te vlieg, dan gaan jy sien daar toe. Ek het nou net daaraan gedink, ek moet dit voorstel in die mens. En dan gaan we vragen.
Ja, met die storie en na werklike grondgesondheid, want as jy werklik na cover crops kyk, per se, en hoe cover crops nou, jy sit nou vir Joel Salatin en jy sit vir Aaron Savory en Reinhard Gelet of allemaal aan die ander kant toe wat hulle die kant toe is. En jy kom bietjie terug op die Steve Jobs op, jy werk na werklike grondgesondheid. Dis dekgewasse in Suid-Afrika die baswoord, dit gaan alles oor kos. En dit gaan oor hoe hulle daarby gekom het. En wat is die Jack Brown ook wat ek sê, maar dit gaan oor verliese wat ons moet beperk in ons die planeet, as ek het so genoem. Ons verliese is in die roos, jy het sy water, het sy wat. Dit van hy ontwikkeling. En ek het koolstof nodig om die hele ding te bou. En dis het, ek beoefen self ultra hoë druk beweiding myself, waar ek doen moet staap. En allemaal vraag my wat jy kan doen. Ek het cover op die grond. Die land